Hey everybody, Kelly Engineering here, and welcome to episode 27 of Project Ozone 3. Steve Severn on YouTube just commented that I had made white plastic last episode. What I needed was gray plastic. So I have very temporarily moved my setup so that I can, oh, hang on, let's actually look at this proper. So I can increase the temperature here and melt down this white plastic back into regular plastic. I looked at the white plastic recipes, and there's not really a lot that I would need it for. I'm never going to make one of these elevators. I may need it for white programming plastic later, but whatever. That's perfectly fine. I'm going to melt this down to liquid plastic and make the gray that I need for my Mekanism steel casings. But thank you, Steve, for that. Thanks for that backup. Yeah, I did nothing in between episodes. I edited the last one and then went straight to bed. And yeah, this episode we are going to get into Mekanism. No worries about that. And probably find a way to actually... Yeah, I'm going to make an overly complicated machine to smelt all the stuff I'm getting from my laser base, or my laser drills, and smelt all this up. Yeah, that's going to be the plan for today. Let's get to it. Alright, I've almost reached the requisite 150 degrees in order to melt down this plastic. I was playing around with what the hull does, and I accidentally made green and black even though I selected nothing in here. So yeah, I don't know what that's about, but whatever. We'll work through it. I'll just make sure not to press willy-nilly. There we go. I just made my plastic back. Temperature is slowly raising again, so I'm going to have to put some more. Yeah, I'm going to have to make sure that this thing can generate more heat. So, yeah, that's something that has to happen. God, what a process. I may just ignore this altogether since I have my gray plastic I need. So as you can see, these portable tanks have been, these portable tanks are full, but they're still at the basic level. And I've been finding that since I've been using these portable tanks instead of using the quantum tanks, I am making a lot more kits than I usually have. So I made, resonant conversion kits into an auto-crafting recipe. And in order to do that, I had to make a total of 7. Go over here to my interface terminal. Encoded patterns, each with the gears that the kits require, and then a last one to actually craft it all into the conversion kit. So I can at any time I want, so long as I have all of the resources, which I do, can start it up. And there we go. I have 4 resonant conversion kits. Easy peasy. And I don't have to waste time going through each individual recipe. So I'm going to upgrade all of these tanks. Boom. Look at that. Why is this diesel now? Oh no. Why is this diesel now? I may need to do a little bit of changing things up because I think I've used all my LPG. Yeah. Well, alright. What I'm going to do to make sure that this never happens again is I'm making fluid filters. And each filter is going to go into the... Oh, I can only put filters on the... I'm going to upgrade all of these to Ender fluid conduits so I can actually put filters in. And once I can put a filter in, it's just a matter of taking a bucket of whatever fluid I want and putting it right here. And only that fluid will be able to access through this conduit. So yeah, it's minor stuff, but that's what the fluid filters are for, and they're very handy. Alright, so I have made the crusher and the enrichment chamber, and these two machines are kind of similar. Oh, and they're connected with basic universal cables, which is 2 pieces of steel and redstone. But yeah, the crusher and the enrichment chamber are kind of similar, but it'd be better to think of the enrichment chamber as like a compactor for this mod, and the crusher like a pulverizer if you were thinking in terms of thermal. So this can take a piece of ore and give you 2 dusts, and the crusher will take like 1 ingot and give you 1 dust. And so there are some similarities between what it's capable of. What I really want the enrichment chamber for is so I can make compressed carbon, compressed redstone. Here we are, compressed carbon, and then there is this compressed carbon can be used in the metallurgic infuser. So anything that requires carbon wow. Yeah, to make the enriched iron. That's going to be the next thing I make. But yeah, if it requires carbon over here in the metallurgic infuser, then you can use a piece of coal or you can use a piece of charcoal, and it will give you it'll fill this bar up 10. But if you use a piece of compressed carbon, it'll fill it up by 100. So yeah, compressed carbon is just better. I'm also going to use a compressed obsidian, which is what the enrichment chamber is for. So yeah, I made 2 of these machines, and I'm going to make the next one. I'm going to make the next one. Kind of wish I had looked at the quest. Yeah, it wants you to use the enrichment chamber to make compressed carbon, redstone, diamond, and obsidian. And all 4 of these resources can be used in metallurgic infusers to give you a better output than just using redstone by itself. So yeah, I completely missed that quest. Alright, so I threw some diamond in the enrichment chamber trying to make this in compressed diamond, but lord it is slow. So I have some osmium dust being created, and I have some enriched alloy being created so that I can make speed upgrades. So I'm going to make 4 of those. Going to throw, there we go. So throw the upgrade right here. And yeah, I can hold 8 speed upgrades. I have 2 going in there right now. And I'm going to throw some in the, there we go. Let's see how much quicker this gets. Oh wow, that gets much quicker. I like it. So I'm going to make some more speed upgrades and throw in the maximum of 8 in my enrichment chamber and crusher, and possibly this first metallurgic infuser. So this first one is just going to be my standard, I want to make whatever, but these 4 are always going to be making the different type of alloys, which is what I am compressing these 4 for. So I've made the compressed carbon, the compressed redstone, and the compressed diamond, but making the compressed obsidian is it's not as easy as just throwing whatever resource it is. If you throw obsidian in an enrichment chamber, it's not going to make the compressed for you, it's going to make pulverized. Then you take the pulverized, throw that in a metallurgic infuser with diamond, and then it will make enriched diamond dust. Yeah, refined obsidian dust. There it is. And with this refined obsidian dust, then you throw it in an enrichment chamber, and you'll get the compressed obsidian. So yeah, that's a thing. That's what you got to do. But it's easy to automate once you have all of these in factory mode, which is going to be the step after I make all of the basic machines. Alright, so I am in this metallurgic infuser right now with the redstone in it, putting in some iron and getting some enriched alloy. I already made enriched alloy to make the speed upgrades, but with this enriched alloy, what you have to do is throw it into the one with diamond. And when you do that, you're going to get reinforced alloy. So with this reinforced alloy, I'm only going to take 2 of them. Throw the reinforced alloy in the one with obsidian, and then you're going to get the atomic alloy. And all of these alloys are required in order to make the different tier mechanism machines. So yeah, have all of these, and that should be, how many atomic? Yeah, just need 1 atomic. Cool. But yeah, with these, I can make the advanced circuitry cards. And yeah, the advanced circuitry, I may as well just make one right now. The advanced circuitry card is just one of the basic control circuits surrounded by, or with enriched alloy on the side. And bam, you get the advanced card. And then the advanced card. With the advanced card, you can make the elite control card, so on and so forth, with the atomic to make the ultimate control card. And ultimate control cards are eventually going to be some of our endgame stuff for infinite energy for magnetic craft. Nice. But I am going to continue making all of these alloys. And yeah, just keep pumping iron in and compressed redstone. I'm going to keep making these alloys until I can make all of the machines. When next I press the record button, all of the machines that are in Tau, these ones right here, will be made. I'm sure I'll be missing 1. But whatever, yeah, I'm going to make all of these machines. And then we're going to go into the basic installers for making factories. Alright, I have made all of the machines that I said I would. The biogenerator, the pressurized reaction chamber, combiner, osmium compressor, the energized smelter. And I've also made the electrolytic separator, the rotary condensator, and a basic bin just so I can hold all of my enriched alloy. Oh, so this, if you hold shift and left click, it'll only take one. Otherwise, it'll take a full stack for you. So it's reversed from how storage drawers worked if you work, or barrels work if you're used to those. Regardless, I have the electrolytic separator going right now, and you input some water, and it's going to make you some hydrogen and oxygen. 2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen. It's H2O. That makes sense. But I made these gas tanks and these basic pressurized tubes in order to take the gases out of the electrolytic separator and put them in here. I can then take those gases, throw them through the rotary condensator, and it will actually turn the oxygen into liquid oxygen, or it'll take the hydrogen and turn it into liquid hydrogen. But that's what the condensator is for. What I really wanted to do is use the osmium compressor. I'm going to throw in some osmium, going to throw in some refined glowstone dust, and it's going to be slow. I haven't made the speed upgrades for it yet, but it's going to make it into a refined obsidian ingot for me, and the same thing with the glowstone. So I want 1 stack of these for my armor project down the line. But yeah, that's what my osmium compressor is doing for me. So if you take a look inside the electrolytic separator, you'll see that you have this water right here. And actually, you know what? I'm going to break these just to show you. So I have a basic fluid tank here. Not worried about that. So in this slot right here, you can input 1 bucket of water, just got input into the system, or I can use a thermal expansion portable tank and it'll do the same thing, or I could use the basic fluid tank for Mekanism. I can input a liquid into this slot and I can output, how we did, this is the hydrogen, yeah, and then you can put a gas tank in these slots and it will fill up for you as well instead of having to use the pressurized tubes. And if I take this hydrogen, and I'm going to take this fluid tank, go over to the rotary condensator after I apply some dang power to it. And you can do the same thing. So I am going to put a gas in. There we go. And it is going to make me liquid hydrogen. I can put a tank in, and it is filling the tank with liquid hydrogen. You're going to have to do that every time, but whatever. Wonderful. But that's what the purpose of this is. The liquid hydrogen can be used in the pressurized reaction chamber. Oh, never mind. I need the gas hydrogen, so I better stop that process right now. Whoops. Yeah. But I'm going to need hydrogen a little later on if I want to make substrate to make the HDPE pellets. So that's why I have the biofuel in here. I just need to input some water and input some hydrogen. It'll make me substrate. I may need to make another pressurized reaction chamber in order to keep this going, flowing smoothly. I also forgot to mention that the rotary condensator can go into decondensating mode, so it'll take liquids and turn them back into their gases. So I'm filling my tank back up with regular hydrogen, and getting rid of my liquid hydrogen because I don't need it right now. Alright, the next thing that we're going to do is make the basic installer, the basic tier installer. The basic tier installer, what it does is it turns a Mekanism machine into a factory instead. So I can do this way, but also say I want to turn the combiner. Oh, I forgot about the JEI synchronization. So say I want to turn the combiner into a factory. The combiner does not have a factory equivalent. So the compressing factory for Mekanism. Then I can take the osmium compressor and use the same exact recipe I just used to make the basic installer, but instead of using that plank, I use an actual machine and it will become the factory equivalent. But I have the basic tier installer. I'm going to go to the osmium compressor, and I have the glowstone ingots being baked right now. I want to make sure that... Oh, it actually stored the... Nice. So I'm glad it kept the NBT data, but what this means is I can make the osmium compressor do 3 things at once. It takes more power per operation, so right now, with only 1 slot filled, it's using the same amount of power that it was using when it was just the osmium compressor. But if I wanted to make 2 stacks of glowstone ingots, then that means it would double the amount that I'm using right now. So, yeah, what is this, 20? So it would be like 40 RF a tick, and then it would be 60 RF a tick. It would actually add on. So you're not really saving power, but you are saving time in order to make all of this stuff. And it also looks like it's much more... oh, never mind, it's not. I thought it was more efficient with the osmium ingot usage as well. Doesn't look like it is. Oh, well. But yeah, that is what a factory does. And I can make more factories. So I'm going to... not every block can become a factory like the metallurgic infusers. And this version of the pack. Oh my word, this is version 9 of Mekanism? Oh, that's beautiful. So in version 9 of Mekanism, you used to not be able to do this. Oh, that's absolutely wonderful. Alright, so you can make factories out of the metallurgic infusers in Project Ozone 3. I'm so happy about that. Because in previous versions of Mekanism, this was like the only machine you couldn't make into a factory. That's why I made 5 of them to begin with. I wasn't aware we were on version 9 of the mod. Oh, that's awesome. So I now have my basic enriching factor, and I have redstone and diamond in here right now. You see that with 2 operations going at the same time, I'm using 4,000 RF a tick just to use both of these slots. So power has to be pretty robust if you want to have everything running as a factory. And I'm also making some refined obsidian dust over here as well. And yeah, power is not keeping up. So I'm going to have to... I'm going to have to make a little bit better power. I should note with the installers that, so I have a basic tier installer right now, and I can right-click the metallurgic infuser, it'll change. However, so I have the elite tier installer next, but I can't actually upgrade the infusing factory right to the elite tier without first getting it to the advanced tier first. You cannot skip tiers whenever you're making factory stuff. And yeah, look at the infusing factory for my diamonds. Wow, this is going to use a lot of power. So that's what the upgrade's for. I can put energy upgrades in here, and it will be able to store more energy, because I don't think this thing has enough of its internal buffer to be able to do 7 things at once. Alright, I have hooked up the pressurized reaction chamber right now to receive water. I made the configurator to make it happen. So using the configurator, you hold shift and mouse through, and it'll go over different modes that it can be in. So right now I have it on configurate fluids, and I can mouse over and it will show me that fluid on the pressurized reaction chamber is being handled by a yellow side, and it's no fluids being handled on the on this side right now. So I have to switch it to gases, and bam, now gases are being handled on the dark red side. And going inside, I am fully getting hydrogen and water every time to make my substrate. I'm also making some ethylene at the same time, so I'm going to have to make another gas tank and then output it through the top so that ethylene can make it to another gas tank. But that's how the pressurized reaction chamber works, and they configure it and make things very easy to do. And it also has like a rotate mode. But of course it's not rotating. Oh, in wrench mode it rotates. That's perfectly fine. But yeah, the configurator. It's pretty simple to make. All you need to do is make a energy tablet. Yeah, make an energy tablet. You got to be careful, because if you make an energy tablet, I just made one. And let's see, I'm going to make the Robeit, because it's the next thing that I need to make. And anyway, you can see that I have an energy tablet, but if I move the items over, no energy tablet actually populates over here. You actually have to take the energy tablet and move it into the recipe on its own whenever you're using applied energistics. I don't know why. Quite frankly, I don't care. It's just something. It's just a minor hassle, a minor inconvenience. I'm not really worried about it. But that's how that works. I'm making my substrate right now, and after I make 32 substrate, I'm going to immediately turn that into HDPE so I can knock off this part of the quest. All right, so I am making the Robeit, and Yeah, I can't set him down now because I need to link him to a charge pad. The way the Robeit works, if I want to actually use him as a pet, is I need to make a charging pad. The Mekanism charging pad, where are you? There we are, the charge pad. So, yeah, if I hook the charge pad into anything that accepts power, and then link my Robeit to it, look at him, isn't he adorable? I'm not actually going to use him as a pet, but you can actually ask him to do things. Yeah, toggle follow mode. So he will actually follow me around, just like a regular pet, and he's adorable. Oh boy. But if you want him to return home, he'll go back to his charge pad and he'll stop following you. Whenever he runs out of power, he will immediately teleport back here. So if you are using him as a pet, you don't have to worry about that. But he can do basic tasks for you, like he can pick up items for you, he can smelt stuff for you, he can even be an anvil. But yeah, he's drop pickup mode, here it is. So if I drop things on the ground, then the Robeit goes over, picks it up, and stores it in his inventory. So yeah, he's quite awesome. There we go. So I got the Robeit back in my inventory. I'm going to take the charge pad back as well because I don't plan on using it, because we're going to make the digital miner next. Here we are. So the digital miner requires the Robeit. Also requires logistical sorters, atomic alloys, which I have plenty of, and these teleportation cores. Teleportation cores being super easy. Alright, 2 logistical sorters. Where's the other logistical sorter? And the Robeit. And I have a digital miner. So let's go set this puppy up. And I'll be right back with you. I am probably going to go to... I don't know what dimension I'm going to go to for this thing to work. Alright, here is the digital miner. I have one of my energy cells hooked up to it through one of the energy slots. And she's ready to go, but I'm going to configure some stuff first. So I've changed the radius to 32 on this thing, and it's going to go minimum to 0 and maximum to 60 Y level. And I can decide a filter. I'm going to go by a mod ID of Landcraft and see whether or not that is... yep, that is a acceptable... Yeah, that is an acceptable mod ID for it. I'm going to save it. So as a mod ID filter of Landcraft, awesome. And I can make any more filters that I want. I can change this thing to Silk Touch, but it'll use a lot more power. And since I really only care about the Landcraft ore for this operation, I don't need to Silk Touch anyway. Yeah, we're going to start this thing up, and it's running. Or at least I think it's running. All is well. Alright, so it just didn't like the Landcraft portion of it. So what I did is I went back into the configs, and whatever, I'll just reset this. Went back into the configs and just individually added each of the Landcraft ores I want. And yep, started at found 960. It is actually doing pretty well, but it is mining those blocks as it finds them. I found 960 and it's just going through and mining. Awesome. This is going to be very trippy looking. I do apologize in advance, but you can turn this visuals on and see how it's like blue right now. I don't know how well you can see that. I'll try to zoom in. See these white blocks right over here? This is the maximum radius that the miner is looking at. So I'm going to turn the visuals off because it's very difficult for me to see. Can't imagine how it is for you. But yeah, it's finding those blocks. It's mining them out for me. And yeah, the power's maintaining pretty steady out of my 50 million RF I have. Awesome. And I'm also going to make the anchor upgrade for this thing. So when you have the anchor upgrade inside a machine that can actually take the anchor upgrade, then that means that this machine will always be chunk loaded. It will keep the chunk that the digital miner is in loaded at all times. So yep, that's the anchor upgrade. It's in there now, and I'm going to leave this thing to continue mining. Hopefully I can get quite a bit of Morganine ore out of this. Alright, I got tired of waiting, so I made 8 speed upgrades to put in this thing. And it's sucking quite a bit of power now, very quickly, but I don't think it's going to use all the power before it finishes. In the meantime, what we're going to do is we're going to make the next thing. So, mechanism speed. No, we want mechanism tanks. So, we're going to make some dynamic tanks here. Yeah, we'll be fine with that. Structural glass. Oh, I should be putting these in my inventory so the quest can complete. And where did I put those tanks? Here we are. So I'm going to have the quest complete for me, if it will actually complete for me. Oh, okay, I need 36 and 20. Easy, easy. There we go, dynamic tank. So the way the dynamic tanks works, and I'm going to set one up for you, is it's a multi-block structure that holds quite a bit of fluid. Any type of fluid, actually. It is a multi-block, therefore it's not portable. But if you have Mekanism machines constantly generating gases, and then gases running through condensators, then you can transport that liquid into these tanks, and just have mass storage of it. Make it look good, especially in somebody who may or may not have a factory for a base. So I'm going to head back to the overworld after this is done and set this up and show you how it works, how to input and output out of it, all that good stuff. But yeah, this thing's almost done, and wow, it's almost taken half of the RF. Yeah, it's almost done, and after it's done, I'm going to pack it up, head to the overworld, set this up, show you how it works. Alright, so here is a dynamic tank. It has not been completed yet. I'm still need to put on one more dynamic valve. But yeah, it has structural... Yeah, the borders of it need to be made with the actual dynamic tank block, and you can have structural glass in between. And once you actually complete the multi-block structure, it'll flash with some redstone particles. Easy peasy. So I'm going to... oh, hang on. Actually, let's show this off as well. I'm going to put one of the dynamic valves in place right here, and you see how it didn't actually complete the multi-block. The valves cannot be in the corners. It has to be one of the dynamic tanks. Yeah, one of the dynamic tank blocks for the borders. So yeah, that's something that you have to worry about. But yeah, let's start pumping this full of liquid. And here we go. I have this tank with hydrogen going into the rotary condensator. It's making liquid hydrogen, and then the liquid hydrogen is outputting here, going into the dynamic tank. And I have 400 liquid hydrogen in here right now. Oh, and she's out of power, so I need to power it a little bit more. Here we go. Yep, you can see that it just filled up with the liquid, and now it's pumping in. I got 500 and rising. Beautiful. But yeah, now I can take this dynamic valve, and anything that requires the liquid hydrogen, such as the fusion reactor from nuclear craft, chemical reactor, or if I just want to pump it right back into a condensator to, yeah. But yeah, that's what the dynamic tank is for. And I'm actually going to, one of the members of the Discord, Sarge, actually did something amazing. And this side of the factory, Sarge actually extended it out by like 3 more. So it's actually like 3 of these wide. And I think I'm going to actually do the same. I'm going to take a page out of Sarge's book. Sarge really inspired me. So I'm going to extend this out over the weekend. And I am going to make a wall of dynamic tanks to hold all of the Mekanism fluids. The minimum size that this can be is 3 by 3 by 3. And the maximum I think is like 16 by 16 by 16. I'll verify that. But yeah, I'm going to extend out this side of the factory, and I have more than enough steel because I'm actually making the essence for it. It shouldn't be as much of a hassle as it was the first time I had to build this. The last thing that we're going to make this episode is the Quantum Entangle Porter. The Quantum Entangle Porter is very much like the Dimensional Transceiver from Ender.io. Yeah, very much like it. So I can set up each of the sides to either input or output a fluid, an energy source, or an item. And yeah, it'll do exactly that. It's wow, it has been a while since I've had to configure one of these. The dimensional transceivers are much easier to config. Like if I have multiple quantum entangle porters, I actually have to set up a frequency. So I am going to re-immerse myself with how to set this thing up, and I will be back with you shortly. Alright, let the demonstration begin. So I have my quantum entangle porter, and there's no channels in it right now, or frequencies. I'm going to make a test one. Hit the check mark, bam, I got test. And the pipes that I had here are actually connected to it now. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to set this up so that This side is actually fluids. Why is this side thinking it's gases? So I just need to configure the inputs in order to actually work. But over here in this quantum entangleporter, now that I've created test, this is one that I can set. So now the frequency is test and it's linked up to this quantum entangleporter. Alright, all I did was break the pipe, and once I broke the pipe and reset it back down, everything went exactly how it was supposed to. So I had the fluid transfer over here. I'm going to put these items in here, and you can see that they're moving through and getting transported into the chest, and gas works much the same. But I don't know why items worked perfectly fine, but I had to break the pipe in order to get the pipe to work. But yeah, that's how the quantum entangleporter works. Just like a dimensional transceiver, just more complicated. And the quantum entangleporter can transport gases, which the dimensional transceiver cannot. So yeah, quantum entangleporters, that's how those work. But with that, I am going to call this an episode. It was quite a bit of fun relearning Mekanism, since it's been so long since I've even touched Mekanism. Versions since I've touched Mekanism. I'm really happy that the infusers can actually be factories now. That's amazing. But yeah, in between episodes, what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to expand the factory out a couple of tiers that way, probably 3. And I'm going to set up a massive dynamic tank farm and hook all the cows up to it. That is a pretty massive project, so beyond that, I don't know what else I'm going to do. But with that, I am Kelly Engineering. I hope that you enjoyed the episode, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.